let's talk about, this is something that comes up quite a bit. You being an MD, um, let's talk about anxiety and depression with cannabis, because that's something that comes up quite a bit that I share. People call in all the time, say, I have anxiety and depression. Sometimes they go hand in hand. And sometimes when you help with sleep, these go away. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Well, it's fascinating, and you hit the nail right on the head that these things are sort of dramatically connected to each other, and so talking about them sort of in isolation can sort of lead us astray. But the reality here is that one of the nice things about cannabis as a medicine is it really helps us address kind of all three of these issues, and really we could generalize, to even wider and throw sort of PTSD in with anxiety, depression, and insomnia, because again, all these things can feed on each other and often present in the same person. The key really is, and we have a lot of literature now that kind of explains this, that cannabis can be extraordinarily helpful. But particularly when we're talking about some of these sort of mental health issues, it's complicated in that a little bit can be helpful and too much can, well, frankly, just be too much. And the word I tend to use is backfire. And so if we're using this in sort of a measured and thoughtful fashion, we can get remarkable mileage out of it. But if we kind of do this willy-nilly, then we can actually make things worse.
Yeah, like I say, backfire, because people always think more in anything in life, more is better. More is better. And in cannabis, I mean, I was sharing a story before we jumped online. What we did with my father-in-law, we were less is more for us. And we had success. And so when we share that story, at first people were thinking, that's impossible. You need to have this much. And I said, everyone's different. Everyone's different.
It makes me nervous when I encounter people who advocate sort of the more is more view. And, there are certainly reasons related to sort of the business endeavors of the industry where they may want to message that more is more. But, there are folks out there who are telling people, well, if you have cancer, you need to be taking in a gram of THC every day. And I just, my sort of eyebrows go up and the steam comes out of my ears. That's just a huge amount of cannabis. And, thinking about, again, the sort of mental health issues that we were talking about, my patients are getting their best benefit sort of on average around 10 milligrams. And sure, there's some variation on that, of course, but on average 10 milligrams, that's pretty far off 1,000 milligrams, which is a gram, right? And we've certainly seen these higher doses just, cause a wide array of problems from, we in my bio I said, I've never witnessed an overdose. And the truth is that's not really accurate. That is to say, I've certainly never seen anybody have a lethal overdose. But I think we all have seen people overdose in the sense of get too much, and you can have a very paranoid, uncomfortable ride for however many hours it takes to wear off. And so that's one sort of set of harm. And then there's other sorts of harms that can come up from exacerbating the PTSD or exacerbating the anxiety and depression. And then there are some other harms that are sort of more insidious in terms of the biology of dependence formation and tolerance formation, and possibly even some long-term negative brain changes, all of which are totally avoidable if we're just doing this, as you said, sort of with that kind of less is more, very medical thought process. It doesn't matter whether it's cannabis or any other medicine. The way we think in medicine is, how little do I need to use in order to get to the benefit, right? Because anything above the benefit is just exposing us to side effects and risks. So it turns out when we're talking about the mental health stuff, that you really don't need very much. And so why use more?
Yeah, and one, it's healthy for you sometimes, less is more, but also cost effective. People, insurance isn't covering this.
That turns out to be, to me, slightly odd, but perhaps to other people it makes more sense. Is that's actually a very primary selling point I find with some people, is that they say, well, why should I come see you, doctor, when I can just go get this stuff? And aside from all of the health benefits that we just kind of talked about in terms of getting to a better solution and a safer solution, there's also that cost effectiveness bit. And I'm like, look, if you come talk to me, I can actually save you money in the long run by helping you find the right product right up front and help you get the dosing right, as well as a consequence of that correct dosing, you're going to spend less per dose than you would if you were kind of using the more is more approach.
Hi, John Malanca here with United Patients Group. I hope you've enjoyed our videos. Please click like as well as subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Also, follow us on Twitter at Patients Group and on Facebook at United Patients Group, as well as for our podcast. Please click the link in the description below. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.